Hey, guys, Alcivis Pelzer here, the voice coach, coming to you with another episode of the Speakeasy Podcast, where we talk about what it means to be the successfully paid speaker or author. That part. Guys, I am super excited to come to you with this particular episode for a few reasons. One, as many of you have heard on the last episode, that I recently got a little more into finding out and doing some research about KWANZAA and really digging in a little deeper as to what it means, the practices of it, what each day means. And it was in finding this, and well, not finding it, well, I guess you could kind of say finding it for me, that I saw that a lot of the principles, the 7 principles actually, are things that have already been instilled in me. They were things that were throughout my childhood that I grew up learning, or things that I do with my current clients and my team. And so it was really powerful for me to learn these different things and really look at where I am as a speaker and author and an entrepreneur, a small business owner, and just how intertwined it is with my core beliefs. And so day 4, Habari gani, which is what's the news. And I'll come back to why that's so funny. Give me a second. Ujamaa, Cooperative Economics or Social Wealth. It's really interesting. My brother-in-law is from Kenya, and so he speaks Swahili. So I had some issues after doing the first episode because in doing my research, there were some conflicting things that I was finding online. So I went and asked him some questions when it came to pronunciation for the words and different things. And so I said, Habari gani. I said, what's the news? He said, huh? Because we get like a formal kind of definition of what it means, or a translation of what it means, right, online. He was like, well, what's up? Yeah, what's going on? What's happening? I said, why would we just say it? What's the news? Who would put that? But I get it. I understand. Everybody's going to have a different translation for it. But Habari Gani, day 4 is Ujamaa, and it's Cooperative Economics, which is social wealth. And this was really significant for me because when I think about cooperative economics and social wealth, I see my mother. And I know that this is not a confession that people want to say, but I see myself turning into my mother. I know. Just love me for who I am, guys. I see myself turning into my mother in that realm. Because I thought about when I was younger, and my mother was always the person that if she had, you had as well. And she was always trying to find ways that she could support other people and grow. And even when I was real little, I think about her and 2 of my godmothers who were all working at a fabric store together. I think about them going and sewing and creating and modeling, and like all of these things just kind of flooded my head. And I said, wow, when I think about that trio, that's what they were doing. They were doing social wealth. They were building each other up in the modeling industry to be all their children, or at least me and my one good friend, her and I were, following right behind and going and being in the different fashion shows when we were younger. But I never quite learned how to sew. I tried to make Barbie clothes. It didn't turn out well. I will say that before we go any further. I did not get that skill from my mother at all. I think it skipped a generation. Like, it just skipped me completely. We're just going to say that. I'm just going to go with that. But when I think about social wealth, I think about us coming together as a community and seeing how far we can go. Where can we take this? What else can we do? And it was really significant for me because that was my heart. Again, that was how I was raised. And so coming into the speaking and author industry, man, that is not what was going on in the industry. And I felt myself getting really discouraged within the first couple of years because here it is. I want to build together. Let's support each other. Let's, go all in. And that's not what was being reciprocated. It's reciprocated to me. It was, people taking advantage of me. It was people treating me like what I was offering was not valuable because I was looking for us to do things together and to build together. And that I can't tell you how many times somebody called my what I had to offer cheap. And it was disheartening. So there was a period for about 18 months where I just said, you know what, I'm just in it for me. I'm in it for the money, and we're just going to make it happen, whatever works. And that was absolutely miserable for 18 months. I was absolutely miserable, you guys. I was not networking in a way that was building people up. I was not making the connections I was making were not significant connections. They were surface relationships and surface connections. And I'm talking about in the business realm. We're not even talking about in the personal realm. That's a whole other beast. I'm talking about in the physical, in the business, entrepreneurial, small business owner realm as a speaker or an author. And because I came in and I'm like, great, there's opportunities out here for all of us. Let's go. You go this way, you go that way. We come back together and we share and we, create and we build upon this. Fortunately, that 18 months ended and I really came back to my core values of we're going to grow together and building a team who feel the same exact way that I do. We're going to build together. We're in this for the long haul because we see the vision. We may not always see the light at the end of the tunnel, but we see where we're going. We know what direction we're going in. And it's almost like, I hate to, kind of correlate it with this, but it's almost like you think about the three wise men following the North Star to, get to their destination. I don't know exactly where the destination is because I don't know where he's at. So we don't know what success is going to look like 100%. We know what we want it to look like. And for them, success was them meeting him and being able to give him gifts. So I just see it in that same realm. I'm a creative, so I always visualize everything. I see it in that same realm. And so when it came to social wealth, I said, okay, team, listen, if we go all in, I want to be able to pay y'all. Like, I can't pay you now the amount that I want to pay you, but I want to be able to. And it wasn't until after I really started going all in on this that I started seeing it more and more in the people that I was connecting to and the people that I was looking up to. One of the most valuable things is, what you bring to the table. Your time, your energy, that's valuable. Your insight, that's your wisdom, your experiences, that's valuable. And I think sometimes we only think of the value as what we can physically pay somebody with cash. And it goes so much beyond that. So when we think about social wealth, everybody's not going to bring money to the table. Somebody's going to bring knowledge. Somebody's going to bring experience. Somebody's going to bring wisdom. Somebody's going to bring time. Somebody's going to bring information about email marketing. Somebody's going to bring information about building a business from the ground up. Everybody's going to have something. And that's where I am now, is that thankfully I've created a team that has been, just phenomenal in coming together in that same, that realm. And then, what do they say about reticular? Listen, when you see something or you say something, you're focused on it, you start to see it everywhere, right? And so, this was my focus. We're growing together. I want to create platforms where we grow. I want to create platforms where we grow. We're giving other people opportunity for exposure and growth. And I looked up and I started seeing other people were doing the same thing. Now, it's not to say that they weren't doing it before me. It's not to say that, that they weren't doing it at all. It's just that when I changed my focus, somebody better catch that. When I changed my focus of what social wealth could be, and I took it off of the selfishness for me, I looked up and I started seeing all of these other people doing it that were influencers, that were phenomenal people. And so I'll give a couple of examples. And excuse me, a little tickle in my throat. I'll give a couple of examples. I don't know if you've seen it, Homecoming with Beyoncé, that she did the special on Netflix. That like by far was one of the things that really stood out for me, because I was like, wow, she not only brought together all of these people, all of these dancers, then she brought the band, then she brought the baton twirler, and like all of these people coming together because she said, we are going to bless this stage together. We have a sound that I want them to hear. I want them to hear everything that we are doing on the stage. And just her focus was not, okay, yes, I'm Beyoncé. Yes, I'm standing on stage, but it's not about just me. Look at the significant opportunity that we have before us, and look at the fact that we are changing history because we're standing on this stage together. This is your opportunity. And then I kept looking, and Tyler Perry with his studio and the rededication of his studio, and literally going and naming the sound stages after these influential African Americans in the film and comedy and industries. And I just looked and said, wow, that's the extreme. That's the goal. Like, I may not be able to do it today. I may not be able to do it with every speaker or author I come in contact with, but that's the goal, guys. That's the ultimate reach. And then I looked at, just recently, I was listening to an episode of Secrets to Success, Eric Thomas's podcast, and just listening to their journey, him and his co-host, and what they've been able to do. What? Let's just stop right there. Let's just stop right there. And I think about the time that they've put in. Here they are years and years, decades later, right? And the success is amazing. And, what he's been able to accomplish now is amazing. But it didn't start out that way. It started out, all right, what are we going to focus on? How are we going to make this happen? What is this going to look like? Not necessarily knowing each and every step, because nobody knows every step. But we can make something happen. And I think one of the biggest pieces of social wealth that we've kind of ghosted is the fact that everybody can provide something, and you never devalue what somebody can or cannot provide. I'm going to just let that sit for a minute. Everybody can provide something, and you never devalue what someone can or cannot provide. You take them for what they can provide and what they're willing to provide, and you see how you can sow into that. And so as I see us moving into, new year and new opportunities, I'm just like, wow, imagine where we'll be in 5 to 10 years. A shout out to Tandy Salter. She done gave me a title for who she is on the team, and I completely forgot the title, y'all. Don't judge my lifestyle. But she does copywriting, she does email marketing, and she's really developing leadership. That's all her core. And man, her and I were talking. And I was just looking at the things that we've been able to do. And we sat down and we said, wow, people really talk bad and talk down about the bartering system. And, oh, you can't do anything with bartering, and you can't do this for free, and you can't do. But people don't understand the value of people's time. They don't. They don't understand the value of people's time. They're so focused on on the financial gain that they forget that the overnight success process does not happen for 10 years at least. You got some work to put in. This is not a 24-hour, market to success model. It's not working that way. But I value what she brings to the table. And in one of those ways is when it comes to email marketing, I hate writing emails, y'all. Hate it. But I know it's something that's necessary within the business and brand. Well, instead of me taking 19 years to try to write out an email, guess what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to let her do it. We sit down, we go through what we are going to talk about for the month. We normally try to do it a month in advance, so that way it's taken care of. And that's it. It's one less thing I have to worry about. And then I can focus on being in my zone of greatness. This is the thing. If everyone focuses on being in their zone of greatness, it's like the stone soup. Everybody has something to bring so all of us can eat. I'm going to repeat that for the cheapsies just in case. So if everyone focuses on their zone of greatness, so I'm not trying to be something I'm not showing up saying I can do all of these different things that I can't really do, and I'm not presenting myself with a mask just to fit in. But if I really show up with my zone of greatness and I am accepted for what it is that I can do, then social wealth is possible. There's going to be many of us that can go and do some significant things, but it's going to only be if you show up with your stuff, and we got to go 100% in. We can't have this thing in the back of our head to it's about me and nobody else. Oh, I'm going to make this happen for myself. Nobody has made it happen for themselves. And when they did, they found out a really hard truth. They were miserable because they didn't even have anybody to celebrate with because they had cut everybody off and kicked everyone to the curb. Now, that's a whole other rabbit hole. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I did have to share that with you guys because it's significant. When we think about our business, our brand, and what we can do, guys, you literally, as an author, you can make millions. As a speaker, you can make millions. But you're going to have to understand that I need to pay somebody to do graphics, because if I'm wasting time doing graphics, that's less time I'm spending on stage. That's social wealth. If I get somebody on the team that does graphics and I pay them to do graphics, that's what that is. If I get somebody on the team that does email marketing and I pay them to do email marketing, that's part of the team. We all grow because the higher I go up, the more I'm able to pay them. That's a part of it, guys. When we think about that cooperative economics, man. And there's going to be times where one person may be a little further advanced than another person. But when we come together, it is all of us coming together with that stone soup and putting in what it is that we have. So as you're moving forward and thinking about Ujamaa and what that really means, first and foremost, it starts with you. You can't be cooperative and you can't connect and support other people. You can't create social wealth if you're coming into it with the negative mindset that it won't work. If you're coming into it with the negative headspace, you cannot. It's not going to work that way. It starts with you. At your core, what are your values? What's your mission? At your core, who are you? Then that leads to the second part. Is that not only does it start with you, but now I need you to understand that it goes further than you. So we're going for something bigger. And I always got to be looking at what's that bigger plan, what's that bigger action. So those of you who have followed the podcast for any length of time, some of you know that part of my personal development is I watch a documentary once a week. And some people may say, well, that's stupid. Well, you have your life and I have mine. But I do a documentary at least once a week because it allows me to get insight from other perspectives. And so in doing this documentary, the most recent one I watched was Kevin Hart's Don't Mess This Up. I won't say the word because I don't curse, but don't mess this up. And I love what he's been able to do with the Plastic Cup Boys, but it even goes back to what I was saying with the social wealth, is these are people that have been connected with him for years and years and years. Even when he first started. His barber, his barbers, some writers, that part. His personal trainer. Like, these are people that have been connected with him for some time, and they're growing together, each in their own respective, area of expertise. Like, they're not attempting to do something outside of who they are. The personal trainer is not trying to do email marketing. Real talk. I hope not. But you've seen them progress, and one of the most significant pieces, and this is, okay, a small spoiler alert. One of the most significant scenes was a moment where, and I won't go into detail in case you haven't seen it, a moment where they were arguing, and the argument got pretty intense. I mean, it got pretty intense. And then he went back, he thought about it, and, he talked to his wife about it, and he went and apologized. And they are all still working together today. Social wealth is going to take accountability. It's going to take humility. It's going to be some times where you have to be honest about what it is you have done and what it is that you are incapable of doing. And I think that as I've grown over the years, those are the reasons why I support social change, social wealth, making that social impact. But I want to hear from you. Is this something that you feel as though is like, no, this has been running the ground already? Nah, that day one stuff, I can't do that, because there are some significant things that happen, and everybody won't be a day one that's on your team. But what do you feel in your business as you're moving forward? The maturity level, the respect. Do you feel as though that there are people around you that you can really build social wealth with? Have you gotten people connected to you that you really want to grow with and take it to a whole nother level? So that's a question for you to ask yourself. By all means, do so and let us know. We want to make sure that we are connecting with you. Let us know over in the free Facebook community, bit.ly/World Voice Community. We want to make sure that you come and join us, bit.ly/World Voice Community. And again, answer the question. Do you currently have people in your circle that you can build social wealth with? That's my question to you, Speakeasy Podcast listeners. And I thank you. Why? Because without the Speakeasy Podcast listeners, there would be no Speakeasy Podcast, where we talk about the behind the scenes of what it means to be the successfully paid speaker or author. I am your host, Altavis Pelzer, founder of the World Voice League. Guys, until next time, don't forget to press it out. See ya.